Everybody, good evening. I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening so far. Welcome back to another session of Diving Stations today. Your session today is week 1, session 12 of Union Station. So we have a lot to do today. Very shortly, we will be having our welcome and introduction to context, then your main buzzwords and general information. And then there's going to be a few videos today. If you don't know what is Union Station Bus Terminal, it is a station that is located inside of Union Station itself. So don't be confused of TTC and Go Transit. It is, I believe, 10-minute walk from the station itself. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, and it is a by Go Transit. So TTC has its own station, and Go Transit also has its own station, but it's only in one big whole building, which we'll be taking in study later. Then we have three topics to discover today: the history of Union, station expansion, and the streetcar route. And then another video that I find very interesting from RM Transit, and he will be talking about the enhancement project of Union Station. After that video is complete, it will be your announcements and information about this week, Tuesday, November 18th, which is Oscar Station, and Tuesday, November 20th, Greenwood. Actually, sorry, I think Thursday, November 20th, it's Greenwood. So without any further ado, let us start. So, Union is a rapid transit station on Line 1 Yonge University of the Toronto Subway in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It opened in 1954 as one of the 12 original stations on the first phase of what was then called the Yonge Subway, the first rapid transit line in Canada. It was the southern terminus of the line until the opening of the University line in 1963, and today is the inflection point of the U shape. So, what they're talking about there is, for those of you who live outside of Toronto, basically, here we have a map of Toronto. And over here, this is what is called the U shape. So here's the line one portion. So it goes down from York Mills all the way down until we get to downtown Toronto. And over here is a closer look. You got the CF Toronto Eating Center right here. And Hilton is right next to it on the other side. Along with Spadina Station and Queensway Station, it is one of the three stations open overnight to support late night streetcar routes. So if you want to go to downtown late at night, you can do so. And here's the big building, as you see here, located at 55 Front Street West in Toronto. As I mentioned, the location is 55 Front Street West. It is a side platform. It is two tracks, and the connections is very big, as you can see here. So not only, as I mentioned earlier, you have access to TTC and GO Transit, but also it is a major hub for two connections, Via Rail and Toronto Pearson's Up Express. The structure type is underground. It is accessible. Opened on March 30th, 1954, whereas the streetcar opened on June 22nd, 1990. And the 2023-24 passengers as of today includes 136,515. And the ranking is ranked 3 out of 70. The proceeding station is St. Andrews towards Vaughan, which is one of the first stations that we ever did last September. And the following station is King towards French. So we got a lot of bus routes for you guys to cover today. Um, if you want to go to Expedition Loop, you can via the 509 Harbourfront westbound. Two bus routes will take you to Spadina. The 510, which is the daytime, Spadina to Spadina Station via Harbourfront, and the night one, which is the 310 Spadina to Spadina via Harbourfront. If you want to go to DuPont via Queensway and Sherborne, you can via the 19 Bay northbound. The 72 Pape northbound also goes to Queensway and Commissioners via Pape Station. And just in case if you want to take the bus so you don't have to waste your time all the time on the subway, you can via the 97C Young, which will take you to Eglinton Station during rush hours as well. And the 1114 Queensway takes you eastbound to Carlslaw Avenue via Overcoming, and the 121 Esplanade River goes eastbound to Bridgepoint Active Healthcare, and the 202 Cherry Beach, which will take you eastbound directly to Cherry Beach. So we're going to be watching a very interesting video today, and it is a navigating through Union Station bus terminal. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to pause the video for you guys to watch, and then after that, we'll be continuing our session. Oops. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. So that is the video. It's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is continue straight, which will be taking you to two attractions, which at the very end, I'll just show you what it will look like. Past the Scotiabank Arena until you finally see the Union Station bus terminal. So let's take a look at the history together. So the station, as I mentioned earlier, opened as the southern terminus of the original Young subway line on March 30th, 1954. And on February 28th, 1963, Union became a through station with the opening of the university section of the Young University line. On June 22nd, 1990, Union became the terminus of Route 604 Harbourfront LRT. So show you what the LRT looks like. I believe this is it. Streetcar, was it? Yeah, streetcar. So they opened this up in 1990, and the now part of the 509 Harbor Front and the 510 Spadina streetcar routes. So that is why anytime when you go to downtown Toronto, you see two streetcars, Harbor Front and Spadina and the Spadina. A new underground streetcar platform was built in the south of the subway tracks, connected to the station concourse by a 30-meter pedestrian tunnel and a flight of stairs. Elevators were installed in 1996, making Union one of the first wheelchair-accessible subway stations in Toronto. An elevator was added to the streetcar platforms, even though streetcars were not accessible themselves at the time. By the time accessible streetcars began serving the stations in 2014, the elevator had been replaced as part of the station expansion. And so on August 18, in 2014, a second subway platform was opened to serve the Young Line trains leaving the existing platform, only to serve University Line trains. So if you were travel, let's say from us, Highway 47 to Union, it will be you'll have to take the French or go all the way down, and then as soon as you reach Union Station, that is the platform that you're gonna be taking. So that's why you guys you see all the time to stations in one. So for example, this side right here, which will be, I think, Fringe side. I think Fringe side one is, yeah, so this is the university line, and this one is the French one. In 2003, planning began on a station expansion to address overcrowding in the station, despite being one of the busiest stations in the system. The station had only one narrow island platform serving both the university and young lines, and a small concourse area. The plan was to build a new separate platform on the south side of the tracks to serve young portion of the line, leaving the existing island platform to serve only the university portion. The new platform would feature a step-free connection to the streetcar platform. In the process, we also included an expansion of the concourse level and the replacement of all finishes and signage, installation of the public art, as well as improved connections to the existing Union Station and the path network. At a cost of $137 million, construction began in February 2011, with the new second platform opening on August 18. The project was completed in 2015 with the completion of the station renovation. In 2019, as part of the rebuilding and expansion of the existing Union Station, large glass canopies were installed in the moat that connects the subway station to the rest of the Union Station complex. This weather protected route connecting to the main concourses at Union Stations ensures that commuters do not need to go outside when entering or leaving the TTC station. Union Station Loop is located underground at the north end of a 500 meters or 1,600 feet tunnel running under Bay Street through the underground Queens Quay station from the street Queens Quay. The loop runs anti-clockwise on a single track along a curved platform. An underground passage connects the streetcar platform to the young subway platform, And Union Station Loop is the eastern terminus of the 509 Harborfront and the southern terminus of the 510 Spadina streetcar route. The loop has a minimum radius of a coordinate curvature of a 14.5 meters or 48 feet. In 2017 report, TTC report stated that the streetcar loop would become inadequate for the volume of customers it handled because of its single track and curved narrow platform. The loop would not be able to handle the peak demand of the 37,000 people per hour projected for 2041. A 2010 environmental assessment for the East Bayfront LRT, a postponed streetcar line, approved rebuilding the existing streetcar loop plus the construction of a connection from the streetcar tunnel to the East Bayfront LRT on Queen Square East. The LRT design would have rebuilt the loop to have four platforms, each with a bypass track so that a streetcar could bypass other streetcars loading or unloading. Expansion of the loop capacity would be needed in order to support an East Bayfront LRT. In 2017, a convention of the tunnel under Bay Street to operate a functional shuttle to Queensway Station instead of streetcars was considered but ultimately rejected. And as in 2021, the conversion of the streetcar loop into a four-platform configuration is in the design stage. So we're going to be watching another video. This time I find it very interesting for from this channel specifically, RM Transit. I'm gonna go ahead again and pause the video, and then I will continue the video with the video playing.
Toronto's Union Station is a massive hub, but the number of trains traveling to the station is going to more than double in the next 10 years. And so the station has been under construction for over a decade to be rebuilt from the ground up with modern passenger amenities and larger, more open and accessible spaces. But there are some nooks and crannies that haven't been upgraded. And one of the most important elements of any train station, the platforms, have not seen a true reimagining in a long, long time. But a huge new project is happening that is going to form the final phase of the complete reimagining of Union, at least for now. So come along and check it out. USEP, or the Union Station Enhancement Project, is probably one of the biggest transit projects you have never heard about. The south part of Union Station, which is at the center of the Union Station rail corridor, previously played host to a number of tracks and platforms, all numbered in the mid-20s. But these felt distinct from the rest of the station, and you needed to use a number of small hallways jutting off of the southern arcade of the station to get to them. The platforms weren't the worst, and they even had some escalators, a rarity at the station. But the access was narrow, not to mention the platforms themselves, and their isolated nature away from the rest of the platforms that clearly holds a lot of opportunity. Union Station has a lot of narrow platforms due to historical reasons around the services operated and the transportation of mail. And the USEP is the first phase of fixing this, starting with the southernmost tracks and platforms, of course. The main star of the USEP is probably the new South Concourse. And to be clear, this is a truly new space. Prior to this project, the spot where the new South Concourse was going to go was filled with some narrow walkways between the station and Scotiabank Arena, various tunnels, and a lot of soil, all set to be replaced by a big modern concourse. After USCP is done, future phases can rebuild Union's other platforms to make them wider and higher capacity, hopefully eventually allowing dedicated platforms for individual services. So instead of waiting at the station concourse, you can just go straight to your platform. The newly excavated concourse will form a giant long open space where passengers can easily walk all the way from York to Bay Street. By the way, if you want a refresher on Union's layout, check out the linked video in the top right corner. And this space isn't just going to be long, but it'll also be really wide, roughly 30 meters at its widest, which means the South Concourse's footprint will be similar, if not larger, than a single level of the Bay or York concourses. Also unique is the model by which this is being constructed, which is the alliance model, where Metrolinx and its engineering and construction partners work together rather flexibly toward the end goal of this new concourse. All right, let's get to the tour. We started out with the connecting tunnel between Scotiabank Arena and Union Station, which will actually be replaced on both sides with a wide opening into the new concourse. This can give you a bit of a sense for the width of the future part of the station and how much more open it will make everything feel. From here, we headed up to ground level and went along the several hundred-meter long site. Working here is not easy. There is a live track with GO trains running on it regularly, directly next to the site on the north, a wall of high rises and Scotiabank Arena to the south, and the CIBC Square elevated park to the east. Because of the trains, a hard barrier and fence had to be created to keep the site safe and separated. From there, crews then had to demolish the old platforms and excavate around the site, including entirely removing the structures that formed the old stairways and tunnels, to be replaced by the much larger and more open concourse. Once excavation is complete, the construction of the new concourse will begin. One of the first things we can see is the side of the tunnel we were just in, or the blue route, alongside many other entryways to previous connecting tunnels. You can also see multiple old escalators being dismantled. There's also a lot of other stuff the project needs to work around. This is a signal bunker for all of Union Station, which needs to fit within the future self-concourse space. At the same time, since work was going on under the edge of the train shed, this also had to be reinforced, shored up, and resupported. This meant connecting the footings of the giant new glass atrium in, but also creating new steel crossbeams to hold up the floating parts of the historic bush train shed. There's also this, and what is this? A truck tunnel. Indeed, because Union Station plays host to many restaurants and businesses, they often have to receive deliveries, and that happens via this truck tunnel that services quite far to the south. Accommodating this tunnel was not simple, since it cannot be removed and it is very tall. The solution is actually to use a little bit of the excess vertical clearance that will be removed to make space for the future concourse. That all means that different parts of the concourse will have very different ceiling heights. There will also be a fair number of stairs within the space to allow for various points where people will be able to connect into the South Concourse, from the South Arcade, Teamways to Scotiabank Arena, and the south end of the Bay Concourse, all of which have different elevations that need to line up with the new South Concourse. So, what's actually going to cap all of this off? Well, new platforms, of course. There will be two platforms built, but they will function as far more. The new southernmost platform is replacing a previous platformless runaround track, and seeing that it will be very wide, given its location in the corridor, my guess is this will likely serve Lakeshore eastbound trains from points east. A wide platform will allow for more frequency, but hopefully also that constant assignment, so you know that this is the Lakeshore East platform for Oshawa. Another wide island platform is being built to the north, but thanks to cuts on both ends that will host stub tracks, which we will be seeing a lot more of at Union, it's mostly not super wide. Probably not sound a bit crazy, the design of this platform reminds me a lot of one of those at Essen Hauptbahnhof in Germany, which of course is run by Deutsche Bahn. Given the relatively short length of these platforms and the presence of a via area in the South Concourse, I'd guess they will be used by Via Rail, who tends to need less platform length for their rather short trains, for the corridor at least, but which does tend to have trains sitting at platforms for a while. Stubs wouldn't have worked with many Via consists historically, but that issue is now moot, since Via's newest train sets have an integrated cab car, allowing easy travel in either direction. And Via these days seems to run two locos on a lot of their trains anyways. I should say that I confirmed, and all of the footings for these new platforms are being designed such that they can enable future level boarding. This is a feature at a lot of new and expanded GO stations, and it is awesome to see this at Union itself, so that eventually you can walk straight into a train without having to step up. All in all, it's cool to think that this portion of the station used to be a small number of passages, utility rooms, and, well, truck tunnels. Soon enough, it'll be filled up to the brim with station, with new waiting and circulation space, lots of vertical access to the new wide platforms, and additional connectivity. And to be clear, this isn't being built by punching through the existing space, but by doing a complete ground up demolition and rebuild. All in all, it's pretty wild to see so much work still happening at Union, which seems to get significantly better with each passing year. The only thing I think I'm more excited for is the intense service that can come with this much improved infrastructure. Thanks for watching.
So I hope you guys are learning something very new so far. So we're almost done. We got two more slides to cover, and then that would be it. So your nearby landmarks for Union Station includes the Union Station Railway Station, which we just saw in the video, at the Royal York Hotel, which I actually went to a long time ago. Scotiabank Arena, CIBC Square, Washington Center, the Metro Toronto Convention Center, CN Tower, Royal Bank Plaza, Brookfield Place, the Hockey Hall of Fame, and the Meridian Hall. So, before I let you guys go, there is a couple of announcements. Well, this is the same announcement as on Tuesday. Tamara Stanley is still looking for new members. It's still active on Facebook. So if you really want to join a group that's all about related to music or just anything related content, Tamara Stanley is the way to go. So once you see Tamara Stanley, please tell her that you're interested. Um, and she will get you covered. Our social podcast episode still is in place on YouTube. So stay tuned for more episodes in the future. Scarborough Center Social is still in the works for November 21st. Again, all of the information that you see on the announcements will be posted Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, all of the above. And so without any further ado, these are your announcements, and I will see you guys next week, Tuesday. Bye.